Governor Tim Walz, a Democrat and former 2024 vice presidential nominee, announced he is ending his campaign for a third term as Minnesota governor in the 2026 election. He won re-election in 2022 after first taking office in 2018, but will not seek an unprecedented third term. Walz said he could not give a political campaign his all amid an intensely challenging political environment and chose to focus on governing during crises facing the state. The key factors behind the decision? Well, fraud, scandal, and scrutiny. Walz's decision follows heightened national attention on widespread fraud in state welfare programs, including child care and Medicaid funds. Though he has not been accused of personal wrongdoing, Republican critics and the Trump administration have spotlighted failures in oversight, making fraud a central issue in the campaign narrative. The political pressure Walz pointed to relentless opposition attacks, especially from former President Trump, and the distraction they pose to governance. He emphasized prioritizing the work as governor rather than defending his own political interests, indicating a bipartisan strain in Minnesota politics. This is party and personal strategy. Overall, Walz's exit is widely seen as a major disruption to a race where Democrats had expected to maintain the advantage in a historically blue state. What this means for the 2026 Minnesota governor's race is Walz's withdrawal opens up the Democratic field and reshapes the contest dynamics. Senator Amy Klobuchar, Democratic of Minnesota, has emerged as the most prominent Democratic figure being encouraged to run for governor. Sources close to her say she is seriously considering a campaign, though no official announcement has been made. Klobuchar is a long serving U.S. Senator, having been first elected in 2006 and carries strong statewide recognition. If she runs, she would be a leading Democratic contender and potentially clear much of the party field. Other Democrats who could enter the race include Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, Secretary of State Steve Simon, state legislative leaders, and other statewide officials. This expanding bench reflects the party's need to quickly find a strong nominee after Walz's departure. The Republican side already features a crowded primary with candidates such as Mike Lindell, which is CEO of MyPillow and conservative activist, Minnesota House Speaker Lisa DeMuth, other GOP state legislators, and activists. These contenders see the open Democratic seat as a rare opportunity to flip the governorship in a state that has voted Democratic in recent statewide and presidential races. Minnesota has traditionally leaned Democratic in statewide contests, but the fraud controversy and Walz's exit may change the dynamics, potentially energizing Republican voters and increasing electoral uncertainty. Walz rose from being a two-term governor to national prominence as a 2024 Democratic vice presidential nominee. His decision to exit the race marks a significant shift in Minnesota politics and removes a high-profile incumbent from the ballot. The party impact. Well, on the Democrats, Walz's departure could make the race more competitive and force Democrats to quickly coalesce behind a new nominee to avoid fragmentation. On the other hand, with the Republicans, the GOP sees the open seat as a potential pickup opportunity after years of Democratic gubernatorial dominance in the state. So, what's next? Candidate announcements will be crucial in the coming weeks as potential Democratic and Republican nominees formalize campaigns. Minnesota's 2026 primary elections will determine who represents each party in the general election. The results are likely to be a bellwether for broader political trends in the upper Midwest ahead of national midterm and presidential cycles. Check back in for emergency news.